Uncensored is a podcast where real-life coders share their stories, best practices, and talk about coding and beyond. Coders Uncensored podcast, real-life coders,
best practices,
coding and beyond. Coding and beyond. This is Coders Uncensored. Welcome, coders and people. I am Angel Guerra. I am the senior coder of the group.
And I'm Travis T, the newest coder on the block.
And to my left, I have Mandy, the producer, where I think you see the hands on the left-hand side. And this is Coders Uncensored. Welcome to this week's show. So this week, our topic, it's very exciting because I like to consider myself as full stack developer. Am I one? I like to think so, but hey, we're all full stack in one way or another. Our topic of the show is full stack full of fun. Later on, we'll be talking with our featured coder, Stefanie, the coder mama, about this. So she's going to enlighten us of what she does on a daily basis and all the fun stuff that entails with full stack developing. We are currently streaming on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Sending questions, comments throughout the show. Mandy is, since Mandy is behind the scenes, she's going to throw some of those questions up, and we will probably read them on live. If you are listening to us through the podcast, thank you guys so much. I love it when you guys are tuning in. We always see the numbers from the podcast, and trust me that Travis and I, we go crazy and we celebrate every single download, right, Travis?
Right.
But before we jump into the good stuff, like always, let's talk about the week. Travis T, how was your week?
Oh, week was great. I just got back from Silicon Valley. That was cool. Got to see a lot of different things, meet some interesting people. But yeah, I'm getting ready for a new project. So those who know me, before I start a new project, I like to visit different places. And since I'm starting coding, I thought I would go there and visit a few spots from Google to Facebook, and met some cool people at Stanford campus, and it was cool. Nice experience. And now we're ready to create a brand new Get Cannabis website.
Ooh, that is exciting.
Finished the site map today. So
that's amazing. And that's amazing, man. I'm super excited for that. But what other places did you visit?
So besides the Google complex, I went to Facebook headquarters, and like I said, spent a lot of time on Stanford campus, just talking to different students. And I met some guys who actually engineer at Neuro, and Neuro is that company that makes those robots to deliver the pizza with no people in it. I saw one of those. I was like, what? It's like a robot with no people in it, and they're delivering pizza. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I feel like people act a certain way once they arrive to Miami or to like somewhere completely different. People when they arrive to New York, but I feel as coders, when we arrive to Silicon Valley, like that's a special kind of that's our Mecca. That's like we step in and we're like, whoa, this is holy land around here.
I definitely used every term I knew, especially when I was on Stanford. It was a group of kids, and they were there. They're college kids, but they were there hanging out and stuff. And I was like, man, the first person who asked me something, I'm gonna be ready to go to go in. I was like, yeah, I'm my first site. It wasn't that good. I used Bootstrap. He was like, well, actually, I was like, yes. They were throwing their little stuff at me. I was like, yeah. So I was speaking the lingo, so I kind of got cool with people just because I knew some of the lingo. It was cool.
That's cool. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. Well, my week was a little crazy. I think we did the show last week from Florida, and because of the gas situations and the Russians attacking the gas, and I was stuck in Florida. I was like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. And then of course we had a client of ours call us to help them with some situation in North Carolina. And first thing we did was jump on the car, visit family here, but as well as visit pretty much a printing situation here in one of our clients. And I say this to you, I say this to everybody, I say this to the entire team every time I have a chance. I freaking love Charlotte so much. And if there's any Charlotte coders out there, please hit me up. We need to have a good talk.
You're in Charlotte now.
I'm in Charlotte now. I am in a church. It's not a church. Like I just didn't randomly walk into a church and just started live streaming here. It is a converted what is it, apartments. I think I was just a church before, and then they looked at this and said, this needs to be gentrified, and here we are.
So it's a real deal church house.
Yes, it is creepy at times, correct. But yeah, that was our week, and I feel like next week we'll finally be back in Atlanta. I miss it. It's been a while, so it'll be nice to be back home. But enough about us. You guys follow us on Insta, on Twitter. You're part of our daily adventures. Today's episode, we really want to dig into full stack, right? But before we do, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor before we jump in.
Stay informed on health and laws regarding cannabis, from agriculture and business to entertainment and fun topics. Geek Cannabis is your online source for news and updates about cannabis, CBD, and hemp worldwide. GeekCannabis.com.
All right, so I am super excited to bring in our feature coder this week. When I first opened up my cannabis developer account that focused on cannabis and coding, she was one of the first people I followed, and I just loved following her. She is a great person to talk to. She is mother of dragons. She is mother of everything. She is Mother Nature embodied. She is the coder mama, Stefanie.
Woo! Hello.
How's it going?
What an intro.
Yes, I practiced that a few times. How's it going?
Awesome. Great. How are you guys doing?
Good. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
So before we jump into quarter questions, you want to just do a quick little intro about yourself, what you do, what you're currently doing, and anything that the listeners want to listen about?
Sounds good. Sure. I'm a freelancer full-time basically, and I do full stack, but primarily my sweet spot is front end. I love UX engineering, UX design, all of the visual stuff. I did kind of the non-traditional route into coding. So I did a coding bootcamp in Cali called Coding Dojo. Shout out Coding Dojo. And before that, I was actually I was doing senior management at a tech company, and I wanted to kind of go head to head with the developers, and I was running some projects. I wanted to be able to converse with them and kind of challenge them on some of the ideas and be like, no, I do think we can do this, or, just kind of call bluff. And so that's what kind of got me intrigued in this. And I've always, as a millennial, you're playing around with like GeoCities and all sorts of, like MySpace, just I knew the basics, but I wanted to really dive in. And that's what kind of led me to Coding Dojo. And here I am doing it full time now for several years. So
that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. With no further ado, I think we have a few questions lined up for you. And I know Travis would like to start it off with the first one.
Let's go.
All right. So coder questions. You kind of answered this a little bit, but how did you become a full stack developer? I know you mentioned the front end and stuff, but how did you make that transition to full stack?
Yeah, I think it was Coding Dojo, right? So I knew some of the front end stuff already, and they do a full blown kind of boot camp. They focus on mean. So it was MongoDB, an Angular app, Node, JavaScript, all of that. And so, I just did it there and kind of got into it that way. And to be honest, I kind of switch around back and forth. So it depends on what the project needs and that sort of thing.
Cool.
Did you have a chance to look at our definition of the week?
Definition?
Yeah. No. So every week.
Food. Well, yeah. Kind of. Yeah. On Insta.
Do you agree with the fact that full stack developers are actors, directors, producers, writers of their own movie?
Yeah, definitely. They do everything. It's insane.
So my question is a little more about the language part of it for full stack. You get to really play with a lot of sandboxes and a lot of different, not sandboxes, but a lot of different languages. What is your favorite language when it comes to full stack? Like, which one do you gravitate more towards and why?
Yeah, it depends on for what, right? There's a lot of, it depends on what you need and for what aspect of it. My kind of like go-to is Angular. I love Angular apps. That's a framework. So they use TypeScript. I really like that. I like that it just helps you, I guess, prevent errors in the future. So TypeScripting allows you to kind of say like, okay, this variable has to be a Boolean, right? So it doesn't catch it. It catches it like right up front when you're writing code instead of like down the line when something breaks. So it's really sweet that way. Allows you to really put in structure in your projects. I love that. And front end side, I guess I like Sass a lot when it comes to styling and things like that. It's my go-to. I'm very type A, so it's like I want like everything organized and like little folders. So that's the mom in me, right? So yeah.
I love that. I love that. I feel like Trevor has a few notes about me always wanting to be everything super clean and like perfect.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I think he hates me.
No, it's not that. It's just that you have particular, and then you have very particular. And Cora is very particular, especially
that's me.
And it's like, yeah.
I would have never guessed. I would have thought you were like, whatever, no big deal.
No, I every time I do some code review from Travis, and he could vouch for this, he would share his screen, and like right the moment he shares the screen, I'm like, okay, that's a space, not a tab. Number one. Number two, there's variables start with this. Number three, this, and I go down the whole list.
He'll come in like line 37, line 35, line 32, and like it'll be so small. But if someone else looks at it, they won't care. They're like, oh, this is great. Oh my God. He looks at it and he'll be like,
That's good.
I remember one time we were interviewing a developer, and he was showing me different sites and stuff like that. And the particular developer thought they were so clean. They thought everything. And I knew from working with him, I knew it just wasn't, like I said, you have particular and you have very particular. And I knew they weren't going to be up to what he was looking for in terms of the code and everything. Because I'm, trained by him. So I was like, it's going to be interesting. And sure enough, like right after the call, he was like, yep, see?
We did. Thankfully, we did interview a lot of people. So thank you. So all the people who may be watching, who maybe were interviewed by me.
Like, is this me?
I know. Right?
Yeah. It wasn't in the first 20, so you're good. Now I have another question though. Like, so because you are full stack, how do you keep up with the technology and everything? Like, keep yourself with the new trends and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think Twitter is a good go-to, right? There's a lot happening there, a lot of conversations. Instagram, have to say that. There's a lot of people posting good stuff there. Honestly, I do just reading here and there. I signed up for Medium. I know that people are kind of going away from Medium, I feel like. A lot of people are gravitating to Dev2 or just having their own self-hosted stuff, but I still love to get my info there. And then honestly, it's just practicing and having your own projects. Because if you don't play around with the languages and the new technologies and what's happening, there's so much all the time. So you got to pick and choose, kind of figure out what you're into, figure out what you think is a trend versus what's going to stick around, figure out what your career might need, or what your clients might want, and kind of start from there. Because there's so much. So yeah, that's what I would do.
So with that being said, let's say you start a project, right? You start a project from scratch, and they say, you know what, Stefanie, I would like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the stupidest request people say. I just need a one pager.
Right.
One pager, and it's really quick.
Quick website, yeah.
Yeah, just a quick website. How would you start this project, and what would be the technologies like, and the languages you use to make this happen if you're starting this project from scratch?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it might be like a little bit too much up front, but my go-to is just Angular. I just feel really comfortable with it. I can whip up stuff really fast. If you do need to ramp up and the one pager turns into like a 20 pager, like it normally does, and I want these 20 new features, then it's already there and in place. Again, I tend to maybe to my detriment, but I like to kind of set things up like as if it were, going to be like a little bit bigger. Because I find that not necessarily like, they always say like start with an MVP, right? You don't want to like build the whole shebang if you don't need it, right? That's like overkill. But I do like to have a nice foundation I can build on, and then kind of iterate from there. Just a little bit extra than what you might need, because for me, it tends to save me time. I know some people might disagree and say, no, just do the bare minimum. So different schools of thought, but that's what I like doing. Just like a little extra. Okay. But yeah, I would set up Angular. I would set up all my SaaS, at least get SaaS working. That's really all you need. I mean, I like using Firebase for my backend database because that's just easy. Yeah. I know there's lots of options there, but that's just quick, just especially for something just go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned Firebase and Angular and everything. Like you have some favorites. Do you have a favorite like implementation or debugging situation you've done in the past?
Oh my God, no. I mean, yes and no. Like I know nothing about testing. I've never written like a test script in my life. I mean, I get the concepts right, but I've never actually done it. I mean, I'm just a huge fan of console log, and I love to it's more about like a mentality, right? And like constantly checking yourself. And not getting too far ahead of yourself. I feel like that's the big thing for me. But yeah, I'm definitely no testing expert. So obviously like I'm on Chrome. That's where I do my stuff. So I love the dev tools on Chrome, and they're constantly pumping out like sweet new tools, like their new CSS overview. I don't know if you've checked that, guys, if you've checked that out, because it's really good.
I don't think so. I don't think I've checked that one out yet.
It's kind of like a hidden flag, because it's not default. So you have to go turn it on and say like, yes, I want this, but it's really sweet. It basically like allows you to like go to any website, pull up the CSS overview, and it tells you like all the font colors, the font style. So if you like find a site that you're like, this is sweet. And I know there's Chrome extensions that do this, but like having it right in your DevTools is just so convenient.
So it's in Google DevTools, you have to do the update?
It's like a flag. It's like, I think it's still in, not test, but whatever they call it, where it's like, what's that?
Is it in beta?
It's not in beta, experimental. That's it. I think it's experimental still. Yeah. It's called CSS Overview. Look it up. I was going to write a little post about it. I really dig it.
Check that out. I remember though, the day, like I celebrated this day like it was, I don't know, New Year's or a major holiday, but I remember the day they became accessible. Like when they had that little window of like, oh, this color is a little bit too light. It doesn't pass the accessibility test. That was the best upgrade that I feel like the DevTools did. And I agree 100% on that. I have not done testing. I remember my old job. They were like, oh, we're about to jump into testing. I'm like, that's so much work. Or like, well, you could just like test it with your form. Like if you're testing a form or you're testing something. But like that was so much work. I remember the guy was showing me like, oh, look at this. It goes every page. It tests every link. I'm like, yeah, but also my finger can do that.
Just see if it works.
Right.
Press the link.
right. I don't know, but maybe we're old-fashioned that way. But thank you for that. That was actually very informative. Now we're going to move a little bit more from the coding over to the fun stuff now. For our next segment, we want to learn more about you, right? So we are going to ask a series of questions, and you have to choose one. And we call this segment If and Then If. And with that, Travis, will you do the honors?
Okay, so first up, laptop versus desktop.
Oh, it's so hard. I hate you already. Okay, I have to give like a long-winded answer, but so I love my Mac. So I hated I used to hate the Mac OS in general. And then I had to get a MacBook for coding camp to learn to code apps, right? iOS using Swift. Like you have to have the Mac OS to do that. And so I fell in love with my Mac and my Mac operating system and everything about it. I have all the stickers. But like I love, like there's nothing better than having like the two monitors and like, I don't know, just like that setup. So as long as I have like a desktop setup, like I will choose my MacBook all day. But I honestly go back and forth. So I got Windows on my desktop and I got my MacBook, and my port is broken right now, so I can't have like the sweet perfect hookup. So it's a little bit of a pain, but yeah. So Laptop.
Yeah. How about you, Travis? What would
So
you
both.
Right?
I would say laptop. Like I
Yeah.
was for a long time. It was desktop because working with audio, there were a lot of things that just the system wasn't. Like even if I had like the Apple desktop was better than a laptop. But now with the new, it's just like I got to be mobile. I got to be mobile.
That's true.
And so it's so easy now. Like if someone doesn't have equipment, I'll come to you, no problem. You know what I mean? Just the flexibility of it makes your laptop just the number one. What about you?
I know for me, damn, when's the last time we've owned a desktop? I feel like it's been forever. I feel like it's been forever.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I'm same as you, Steph. Like I love my laptop, right? My Mac OS. I was so against Mac. I was one of those Android people like, like Mac is the devil kind of thing. But then I was like, you know what? They do good computers. Like I don't mess with their phones, but they do good computers.
Right. Same.
Right.
The line.
Yes. So
But Travis, do you have an iPhone?
Of course.
Okay.
Oh yes, he loves iPhone. He loves everything Apple.
So you're the person that has like the iPhone and the iPad and the MacBook, like everything.
Yeah, the person who likes, to just be free and not have to think about an equation when they use their phone. Yeah, that's me.
Nice.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no. For my vote, it's definitely laptop. I think we're all in agreement that laptop is definitely the way to go. So for my next question is White Castle versus In-N-Out.
Oh, God, they both suck. I mean, I honestly have only had White Castle once, so I have to go with In-N-Out. It's fine.
Really?
Yeah.
I do have a soft spot for White Castle. I feel like, they're not the best burgers, but they're my childhood. Like I remember just going, I think it was like with $1 would buy like 2 of those suckers, and when I was hungry, be able to eat them. So I have nostalgia with White Castle. I've never had In-N-Out though, so I can't really compare the two.
I didn't try either until I was an adult because I grew up in Austria and then moved to Minnesota when I was 12. But like either way, like there's nothing in the Midwest. There's definitely no In-N-Out. There is White Castle, but yeah.
In-N-Out is trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stand on that. In-N-Out is trash.
But White Castle isn't?
No, White Castle's trash. You only had White Castle one time. It was trash too. They both suck. If you want a premium burger, I would say one of the best burgers I've had recently was actually shout out to Mark Wahlberg, because Wahlburgers has a great, excellent burger. Wahlburgers.
I've never had them. Mark
Wahlberg, Donnie, and all them. They have.
Where do you get that?
Well, they have locations here in Atlanta. They have some. They have one in Silicon Valley. I had one. They have California. They have one Atlanta. They have one. A few different places. But yeah, I mean, he's a rich actor and he has some locations. It's like In-N-Out is trash. I would eat Five Guys before In-N-Out. I would eat anything.
Oh, I love Five Guys. That's my favorite one.
In-N-Out is all about somebody's. They like hype it up, and then you taste it.
Yes.
Like, what is this? It's like a whole lot of lettuce, a little bit of meat, a little bit of bread. Like,
we need to try this. I've never had In-N-Out.
By the Battery, that's where the Mark Wahlberg spot is. It's over by the Battery, the one in Atlanta, and they have one on Peachtree too. Tell them I sent you.
I'm gonna look that up.
Once I enter the doors, I'm just to be like, "Hey, Travis sent me. It's okay."
They're gonna hook you up. All
right.
Podcast. They sent me over.
I got you.
Sponsor them.
All right. So, what about the next question? Okay, front end developing or back end?
Front end all day, every day.
Okay, we're on the same page still. Okay, that's my thing. So.
Make it pretty, make it work, make it accessible. Yeah,
it's so true. I feel like designers, I think, lean towards front end for that reason. It's so satisfying because
yes,
when I'm back end developing, there's no instant reward. You know, you're kind of just like, I guess it works. for a while. And then front end, you're like, color blue, and boom, you see a blue.
And then your client's like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, whoa, you just hacked into the matrix. Like, yes, I did.
Exactly.
But
That's
yes,
funny.
I totally agree. I think we're all, I feel like
Are
we're
we all front
from
enders? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Okay.
the hardest back end thing I've tried was I tried C# when we had conversation with Atlanta. I tried C#. That shit was stupid. Like no matter how people say like, oh, it's the easiest thing to learn. No, it was horrible. I'll never go back to that.
It just wasn't fun.
It just wasn't fun. Yeah, I was bored. I was like, nah.
I mean, it's fun from like a logic perspective and like an organizational perspective. Like I like that, like laying out like this is what my model looks like, and this is how I want everything organized and all the fields and values. Like I like that part of it, but I feel like it is always like very overcomplicated, and it's the documentation is often confusing and lacking.
Yes,
that's I don't know. Maybe my brain just thinks differently, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Now, for the next question, this is going to be super hard, like incredibly hard. Baby Shark versus Where Are the Dinosaurs?
What is We Are the Dinosaurs? And
I have no idea.
What? I mean, Baby Shark all the way. Actually, PJ Masks.
Ooh.
Look it up.
Okay.
Oh my God. My 2-year-old is into PJ Masks. I mean, he obviously loves Baby Shark, so I have to go Baby Shark, but
Mandy over here is voting for Peppa Pig.
Also never watched Peppa.
You never seen Peppa Pig?
No, because there was some horror stories about people hacking Peppa on YouTube and putting all this gory like murder stuff. And so kids are watching these like not fake Peppa, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so ever since I'm like, no, we're not watching Peppa.
Fuck Peppa. She don't deserve to be on our channel.
What happened to Ninja Turtles, Thundercats? Like,
that's our days, man.
Oh,
those are definitely our days.
What did I watch when I was a kid? What did you guys watch when you were kids? Scooby-Doo?
Yes. Oh, Mandy's partying over here. I was all Justice League Unlimited, Batman animated series, and Static Shock. No. Those three were my shows.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't even know what Static Shock is.
Turtle.
I gotta look it up.
I got older and watched Dragon Ball Z.
Animaniacs.
Wow.
Animaniacs was
Animaniacs. Pinky and the Brain.
Wow, totally different over here. I watched none of those.
Really?
Did we just age ourselves, Travis?
I did like Captain Planet. I did Looney Tunes. Okay. Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
Sailor Moon. If you're into anime, I did Sailor Moon.
Captain Planet was official though. Like I really.
Oh my God, the song is like. Right. I was listening to it the other day. I'm like, is it still good? It's still good.
Planet, when that second verse come in, that's when you know you're a real fan. When you say the Planet Tears, all right, cool. But everybody knows Captain Planet. He's our hero.
Yeah.
Take pollution.
Gun down to zero.
Okay. Cool.
I know that much.
Yeah. Like,
oh man.
That was classic.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
All right. So next question would be SCSS versus SAS.
I'm gonna go with SCSS.
Really?
SCSS. Well, I like, and I think, God, it's been a while since I looked at the different options and how they vary, but SCSS, I think still like has like the curly brackets and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think SAS doesn't, I think.
No, you're right. You're absolutely
right. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I like it to look like CSS because when I'm working and collaborating with other people, if it feels more like CSS, they feel more familiar with it. They get it. They're not as scared of it. So that's why I like it.
Absolutely. I could not agree anymore. It was funny. I think I was talking to Mandy about it. Was it you, Trevor? So like, what's the difference between SAS and CSS? I mean, I think there's major differences, but the fact that they eliminate the curly brackets, I'm not a Python developer. I'm not, there's a lot of Python developers who are like, oh, I hate curly brackets. I hate ending statements. I love ending statements because I know I can visually see when something starts and when something ends. Yes. And yeah. So I agree with you 100%.
Like to see that flow.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So next question, designer or developer?
I mean, for what? What are we choosing here?
Would you rather be a developer or would you rather be a designer?
Oh man, I hate that question. I hate it. Why not both? I'm like the tortilla chick. Why not both?
If you had to choose one, okay, how about this? I'll
You
phrase
had
it
to
in a
choose
better
one.
question. I'll phrase it in a better question here.
Okay.
If someone offers you a buttload of fucking money and
Yeah,
say,
I know.
"You're a
I know.
designer,"
I don't know.
Why don't you know?
I don't know.
Talk it
I
out.
love them because I love both my children equally. I mean, I would I would maybe designer. Only
Okay.
because this no code vibe that is coming out, I mean, I could like kind of still code that way. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have to write a line of code, but I can still build websites with no code.
That is true. You know, I see what you're saying.
Trying to get
That's
both in one.
tough.
You're trying to do 2 in 1 with that, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to be sneaky.
We caught you. It's pretty obvious.
I will have to say, like, I hate designing. It's something I do, but like the moment I sit down in front of whether I open up Sketch, XD, or whatever, Travis can tell you, I just like, oh God, I have to make a logo, or oh, I have to make something else. It's just so I don't know. I like Tetris. I like coding. You know, like I like the whole putting together kind of thing.
Yeah.
So kudos to you to actually like both equally. Because I know at least some full stack developers usually tend to lean towards one or the other. Like I tend,
So
I
hard.
lean hard towards coding versus designing. So that's what's up.
I think the more like I guess maybe like the more time you spend in coding, the more you start to love it. Maybe that could be it too.
That's true.
Or the more you start to hate it. I don't know, one of the two.
That is also true.
I don't know. What about you, Travis?
When I started looking at code, I thought I would like designing more, but no, it was like the total opposite. I like figuring out the problem, putting the pieces together. Like I said, Tetris, like, oh man, I did this, and now it's a column and a row, and it looks pretty.
Yeah.
And then I did it so clean, he likes it. I'm like, oh yeah. So the coding part is like I'm excited because like you built something. You know what I mean? Design it's cool, but that building is like, I mean, I'm telling you, I showed him the website the other day. I was like, look, all the code is good. And I just sat there like this, like, and he was looking at I mean, he found some mistakes, but the whole thing is that it was built. You know what I mean? It's like building something with your own hands. It's just like building a house or something. That's how I feel. Yeah. It's like, you want to build a house or do you want to paint it?
Absolutely.
I'll build it.
Absolutely. So with that being said, let's jump into our next segment, which is our favorite one. So I hope you guys are ready. So for this next segment, we call Explain the Source Code. Here, we are going to pull up some pictures. To be honest, we have not seen the pictures yet either. Mandy pulled all these pictures out from your social channels, and we asked the simple question, what is the backstory to them? So for the very first one, we're going to pull it up and I'm going to describe it. So we see here, the coder mama is best way to describe it. She's going crazy. She's going crazy. She's pulling up her hair with her hands over her head. And I honestly, I have no other description to say than that you're going crazy. So we asked, what's the backstory on this?
Backstory. Oh my gosh. So I was pregnant with my second baby here. I was hitting the home stretch last month of my pregnancy. And I was in fact going crazy. No, just kidding. But I was, one of those. No, I mean, it was really cool actually, because I got a sponsored post. It was my first, I think it was my first sponsored post. Yeah. First sponsored post on Coder Mama. And it was for one of the Flexi desks, right? The automated up and down, and it was sweet. I still have it. I use it every day. So it was kind of doing it for that, and I always like to play with different crazy poses, and I was feeling very Medusa like with the hair, and not a ton of backstory, but that was it.
Now, how long did it take you to take that though? Was it just natural, or did it take a while to get that pose and the look and everything?
No, I just
tell the truth. Come on,
just whip it. No, for real. Listen, I was pregnant. I did not have time. In part of that carousel, there's a picture of me sitting on the desk because I'm like, it can hold the weight, because they advertise it could hold like, I don't know, it was like whatever weight, and I was like, it can in fact hold the weight because I was pregnant and huge. So yeah, it was fun. I had a fun little photo shoot. Yeah,
no, it looked dope. It looked real dope. Travis, go ahead and let's describe the second one.
All right, so the second one, we see the coder mama here at coding, I guess, at the computer, and we see some code there, some computers in the background, and the hands there looks like typing going away.
What's in the background? Is that a mask?
I really can't tell. Looks like I see. Is that like a monitor in the background? Some cords?
What is that?
Not sure. Explain the source code because we don't know.
What is that? I'm trying to think like how far back this was at because I'm definitely typing. I'm trying to think what what project I was working on back then. Oh gosh, it must have been either. It must have been. So I actually worked. Okay, so I worked as part of the Google team and still do here and there on the Angular documentation site primarily, and so that's kind of my sweet baby child. And so whenever I'm working on that project, because it was my first big, very visible, accessed by millions of developers every day type thing, or every month, not every day. But it was a big project. So whenever I work on that project, I always feel very energized and very I'm a coder, you know what I mean? And so, so I must have been working on that project is my guess. And I was actually going through, I think that was right before I redid my desk setup because it was just chaos in that desk, in that office, because I share office with my husband. So it was nuts, and hence the cables in the background.
Nice. Okay. So let's jump over to the third one here. All right, so here we have the coder mama doing the mama duties, which I assume is the second baby.
That's the first one.
The first baby. It was the first baby. Pretty much coding in front of her laptop. Laptop has all the stickers she mentioned actually earlier in the podcast, and just hanging out. So we asked the question, what's the source code with this?
Yeah. Oh, memories. Yeah, my first baby. So that would have been in 2018, I think. That was winter of 2018. My first baby was born, and I was trying to juggle the whole, freelance and newborn. I was first time mom, and any first time moms, any moms out there listening, they know it is no joke. It is hard. It was a lot of work. It's a lot of redefining who you are and figuring out new balances. And so that was kind of it, is me kind of demonstrating and showing to myself and the world that mamas can also do it all. It might be hard and whatever, but it's totally worth it, and got to make sure you keep pursuing your passions, even if it's bit by bit or however it works for you. Luckily, I'm very blessed that I have a huge support system, so I'm able to do all that. But I know some people can't. But yeah. That was me in the kitchen whipping up some code with my baby.
Were you coding with one hand?
I actually was.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Nuts.
That is impressive. That was actually very beautiful as well. I do have to say that last week when we were in Florida, my two nieces were with me, and I remember everyone kind of disappeared for a span of 2 hours, I think it was. And it was this one baby. She was, how old is she again? 1 year? Yeah. She's a year old. And then the other one is how old is the other one? 5. The other one's 5. I was going to say 7 and 10.
Okay.
1 to 5. It was the most chaotic time in my life. I was trying to code and take care of babies. I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, do not know how you do it. It's just crazy. I have air barking right now, and that's a dog. I could just think
next
more
level shit.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother level.
I wasn't even there, and I called him and saw him on video, and I couldn't concentrate when I saw it. I was like, all right. I was like, talk to you later. I'm confused now. All right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So definitely more power to you. Now, with that being said, we're going completely off the rails right now. What would be your techniques to how to handle, especially working from home? How do you do it?
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, I can't really. I can, but I can't at the same time. I mean, I'm so blessed. I have a nanny and I have a husband who jumps in whenever he can. So I feel like that's most people, like I said, can't do that. So for me, it's just having a dedicated time for it, regardless of, when that is. Having your space, right? Like, so that you can mentally, like, doing it in the kitchen. Yeah. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, but having your kind of dedicated space to do it is really key. Doing it, like getting it in during nap times, whatever you got to do. And I guess just keep challenging yourself. Find a hobby project that you're passionate about and do that, because that's what's going to keep you going. Because if you're bored or you don't like what you're doing, it's not going to last. So make sure you find something that you're into and that will keep you excited. Love that.
I think on that note, I really think we should wrap it up, because that was a perfect tie, bow tie to everything of the show. So with that being said, I want to say thank you to everyone watching. Thank you for everyone who's listening after this live stream. Thank you to our sponsor. And thank you for everyone for participating. And of course, thank you for you, Stefanie, the Coder Mama, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. And before we go, do you have any projects? Do you have any side projects, any current projects that you want to throw out there? Do you want to advertise?
Oh man.
I feel like I should have prepped you more for that part.
Maybe. I mean, I should know, but no, just check out my I'll be posting some more stuff on Medium. Just under the Coder Mama. So you can hit me up on Instagram, of course. That's where I am most of the time, checking people out, posting stuff. Yeah. Awesome.
Travis, do you have any sign-off notes?
No, just appreciate the Coder Mama coming in and giving us some insight on what she does. And, we thank everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Great. Thank you, guys. And tune in next week where we have Stefanie number 2. Latinx developer coming with us next week. So thank you so much again for tuning in, and we'll talk next week. Bye, guys.